Hi Karl.
Hello.
So, when did you get into farming? Have you always been a farmer? Did you come from a farming family?
No, so I don't come from a farming background at all, or really. I started in about 2015. You're testing me now. Yeah, so my grandparents have had about 12 acres, so I started with 12 store lambs, yeah, about 2015. This time last year I gained an extra 20 acres, of which was permanent pasture, not for haymaking, so that meant I had to expand, so I bought my first breeding flock, which I've just lambed this year.
So, you're not from a farming family,
No.
but you've gone into, like sheep, a little bit haymaking and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you find that difficult to break into farming? Because it's quite difficult for young people to get the capital together to get experience in order to get, like tenancies and stuff.
It's not been easy. I'm very lucky. I said I will just take on pretty much any piece of grazing, even if it's someone's back garden, within reason, which has sort of been my benefit. I won't say no to anything, and I've just sort of not tried to expand very quickly. So I've been doing it since 2015. I've only bought, I was then 12, then 20, then 30, then 40 store lambs as I got more grass, and then when I gained these 20 acres, it meant I could expand and have grazing over the summer. So yes, it's just been sort of a slow process.
Did you pick any particular breed, or did just whatever was at the market?
Well, no, there was somebody I know was selling them, so I went and viewed them, not with a lot of idea. I'm really pleased with them now, but I didn't really know what I was buying. I was buying fat lamb carcass style sheep, so they're all Texely, Charolais sort of crosses, so I had a rough idea. I went and viewed 31, and they then told me there was 33 there. If I bought all 30, well, 31, they'd throw 2 in, so I came away with 31. I was only meant to buy about 20.
And when did you become a Yellow Wellies NFU Ambassador? How did you get into those two?
So the Yellow Wellies one, so when I started this whole Instagram and all of that fun, they reached out to me about June last year, and offered me a takeover position. So we took over the Instagram account for a Tuesday. So I did that, and then they said, would I like to be an ambassador for them? So I jumped at the opportunity because being able to talk about farm safety and mental health is really important. So yeah, and then the NFU Ambassador scheme runs every year, and then the applications came out about July last year. So I ummed and ahed about whether I was sort of fit the bill or not, because I don't come from farming stock and all of that. Spoke to a few of the other ambassadors and said that I should really apply, and now I'm one of their ambassadors.
What is Yellow Wellies?
So Yellow Wellies is a farm safety charity. So they basically are sort of the voice. I think they work alongside the NFU Mutual as well, and they're just a charity sort of for farming, to sort of make everybody much more aware of one, mental health within farming, farm safety, about how important it is. Like, there's such a dangerous industry, and we're trying to make it safer every single day.
And I know that recently was Mental Health Awareness Week, wasn't it? And you posted quite a lot for that.
Yeah, again, it's something that sort of I'm very passionate about. It's a very alone industry. A lot of people work on their own for many hours of the day. So yeah, it's really important to sort of talk about it and make sure that people know that it's okay not to be okay.
So you've had an Instagram account for a really long time, like, not that I've completely stalked your Instagram or
Definitely been
anything.
stalking me.
So why did you start posting on Instagram?
Again, it just sort of happened. I think it was a hay season a few years ago that sorry, I'm just being distracted by my sheep. It's very obvious that it happens all the time. And I think a few friends were like, oh, how do you make hay? And I just sort of started talking about it, and people enjoyed it. And then it's just really snowballed from there. But I love it and I wouldn't change it. And I've had people that have messaged and said that they've thought more about when they go into the supermarket about buying British. It's helped me expand my business. I've sent lamb to Derby this year, to Essex, all over. So yeah, it's really helped me as well.
Yeah, I love your stories.
Thank you very much.
So I saw you on Radio 2
Yeah.
the other week. How did you do that? How did you get into that?
Again, I've just been really, really lucky, I think, and just been in the right place at the right time. And I just texted in one day, of which they found it interesting about Topping and Rambo, and it's just spiraled from there, really. they've found that I'm quite happy to spend the time talking to them, and it's Radio 2. If they'll have me and let me talk about British farming, I'll be on there. So it's gone from sort of strength to strength, and now I'm their unofficial, official breakfast show farmer.
So do you think that's why people follow you, to get like a real world, sort of real life view of British agriculture?
That's what I hope. I try and sort of show pretty much everything, nothing's off limits, to show the truth. There's so much negative out there about British agriculture. I'm trying to show people that this is actually what happens, that we actually do care about what we do and our animals and things like that. So people are obviously clearly here just for my singing. That's the real reason why they're there.
I suppose that's the beauty of social media though, isn't it? You connect people with the same interests or similar interests, or people that are just interested in...
This is why I think it's great, because you can reach so many more people. If I didn't have social media, I could only reach the people that are prepared to listen to me literally in my village. But with social media, as I said, I can speak to people all over Britain, all over the world at the click of a button, and they can be aware of what we do. So I think it's such a hugely important tool, especially for British agriculture and for any industry really, to sort of really show how amazing an industry we are. It also, for the next generation, so people younger than me, saying, look, this is an amazing industry to come into.
What's your kind of ambition going forwards? What are you thinking of? Like, do you have a dream?
A dream would be farming sheep, beef and pork on a small enough scale that I don't depend on the market or supermarkets, that I sell everything straight to the consumer. Realistically, I probably will take a long time to get there, because I don't own a farm. I probably will never own a farm, because unless I find a really rich relative or I win the lottery, I won't be buying a farm. I really don't know. I didn't plan to buy a breeding flock, as I've said, so I'm literally just taking each day as it comes. And the fact that I rent and borrow every piece of land I have, I could lose it all tomorrow. So it's really not that easy to plan. I just sort of enjoy what I have and hope that one day I'm stood here farming full time. But don't tell my gardening customers that, because they really won't be happy.
Wait, so what's it like being a young person farming? Is there much of a community feel? Do you feel a part of something larger in Britain, or?
So yeah, I'm heavily involved in the National Federation of Young Farmers as well. So there's a great community. When COVID doesn't exist, we're at the pub pretty much every week, sort of comparing what we're doing in our farms and what they're doing in theirs. And again, I was only talking to a mate yesterday about borrowing my mower, and he's going to come and do some hay carting for me. There's a huge community. Again, we all want to help each other out, and we're all sort of in the same boat, trying to give each other legs up and trying to get where we want to. We're sort of the next generation, if you like. I've not yet found anybody, touch wood, that doesn't want to help, and it's probably because I just keep badgering them until they help me, basically. But no, there's a huge amount of people that will spend the time talking to me, and even if it's just a 5-minute conversation about X, Y, or Z, they're quite happy to help and talk, which is really useful when you don't really know a lot.
Yeah, and that kind of like real world knowledge is invaluable.
Oh, massively, and all of those guys, especially the old farmers, have done it all before, or they've tried it all before. There's no sort of new ideas, if you like. They've all tried it before, so I can go, I'm thinking of doing this. Nah, look, do it like this is much more efficient, or it's a much better way to do that, or cross this sheep with this sheep. So they know so much more. They're like the encyclopedia of sheep, so or farming in general. So
what do you reckon's led to your success on social media?
I don't know. I don't know. I suppose I'm hoping I'm relatable. I'm quite happy to talk to most people. I don't know. I don't really want to sound arrogant. I don't know.
No, you can't. Do you think British people are just really interested in farming, so they're looking out for you?
I think so. Yeah, there is a huge. I don't know my percentage of who are farming, like people that are interested in other farms. I follow a lot of farmers. I don't know, but then as I said, from like the Radio 2, I've had people message here, and I live in London. I have absolutely no idea about what actually happens in our countryside. It's great to watch somebody from my phone and see what they get up to. So I'm hoping that I have a sort of a huge spectrum of people from different walks of life. So yeah. The NFU. I'm trying not to laugh at you.
Oh, with all the flies. Yeah, you see, they're not hovering around me.
No.
Yeah, it's cool.
Do you want me to do that one again?
So do you think that's kind of why people follow you, to get like a real world out? Sorry, I saw like a
Flies.
swarm. They're
Told you, not
swarming.
used to the nature is what it is. What's it like being a farmer under 30?
Alright.
No, I'm just going to film you running. It's great TV.